the freedom movement, which gave us freedom from the stronghold of foreign powers, we must now launch the innovation movement in India to take India to her rightful place, and that is right on top in the Committee of Nations. Our new innovative India will have to be built by concentrating on our youth, which represents the national strength, vitality, and vigor. If properly molded, the youth can become the champion of our culture, custodians of our national pride, and a trustee of freedom of the country. Our youth must imbibe the spirit of a true innovator. Innovators are those who see everything as everyone else sees, but think in such a way that no one else would think. And therefore, they would love to convert inspiration into solutions and ideas into products. Building such innovators will require an all-pervasive attitudinal change towards life and work, a shift from the culture of drift to a culture of dynamism, from a culture of idle prattle to a culture of thought and work, from diffidence to confidence, from despair to hope. And revival of Indian creativity and innovative spirit needs to be made the national movement of today. Innovators are those who do not accept that something cannot be done, and Indian history is full of examples of such innovators, and we need to draw inspiration from them. Just to name a few, I would like to remind you of the great work of Dr. Kurian, who was responsible for the White Revolution in our country, who made India the global leader in milk production in the world. I would also like to remind you of the great work of Mr. E. Sridharan, who had built the 760-kilometer-long Konkan Railway project in one of the most difficult terrain which the Indian Railways had never before that encountered. I would also like to take this opportunity to remind you of Sri Ratan Tata, who built the car Indica by using 700 engineers who absolutely had no experience in designing an automobile, and at a cost which was 1/10 of the international cost. In the 1950s, it was the British Morris Minor that was sold to our Indian roads as the ambassador, and today it is the Indian Indica which is sold to the London roads as the Land Rover. In this way, there are innumerable instances of innovators from different fields whose ideas have worked wonders in the country. The simple message is that we can do it in India, in all fields, not one. If we have accomplished it in the telecom sector, I don't see any reason why we cannot do it in any other sector, in all the fields, in all sectors, in all seasons, and in all settings. I think that is the strength of our country. I would also like to emphasize here that the future of India can be built by remembering and by focusing on three things which are encapsulated in the word IT. Firstly, TI, sorry, not IT, but TI. Firstly, TI should stand for Think India. We must have India in our hearts and in our minds. And as someone had rightly said, that in answer to the WTO, we must say WTI, and that is, we think for India. The second meaning of TI would be Team India, as has been rightly emphasized by the speaker before me, and we must all work as a team, breathe as a team, and strive forward as a team. And TI would also stand for total innovation, and this means making India truly innovative by changing its social, legal, and economic structures. And the most important thing I would like to reiterate once again is we should strive to convert the I in India to stand for innovation. It is here that I would like to share a small experience with you as I was interacting with a friend of mine. And he was on the committee who was interviewing candidates for the post of an innovation officer in a blue chip industry. As and when the candidate walked in, my friend questioned him how he would brand India. He was absolutely lost. He didn't know what answer he needs to give. So just to give him a clue, when my friend said, if US is to brand itself a land of opportunity, how would you brand India? And pat came the reply. If US is to call itself a land of opportunity, I would brand India the land of ideas. And therefore, it is the responsibility of each one of you seated before the dais to ensure that we can convert this land of ideas into a land of opportunities. In short, I would like to say innovation is the mantra, as it were for a knowledge world of today and for tomorrow. And I believe that technology, shared awareness, and harnessing of intellectual capital are the key factors to enhance innovation. Let me also add here a note of caution that the path to innovation is exciting as it is, but is definitely difficult and arduous and painful, more particularly for an emerging and a developing country like ours. And therefore, we need the young graduates seated before the dais to help us realize the dream, to see India on the top as a leader amongst the comity of nations. Our demographic differentials reveal that in the next 20 to 30 years, we would be reaping the demographic dividend. But the challenge before us as policymakers is how do we channelize this huge youth force that we have to ensure that they play an equally productive and an important role in the economic development of our country. And therefore, the point that I would like to emphasize here, that in our quest for innovation and in our hunger for technology insertion, we must ensure that our initiatives have a humane face and are very people-centric. We need to take all those young children along with us who are wanting to be a part of the economic development process of our country along with us as we go. This is only to remind you of the words of Dr. Manmohan Singh, our Honorable Prime Minister, when he said that growth is a process. It is a process by which we ensure that we eradicate illiteracy, we eradicate hunger, and we ensure that we give the best health protection for each one living in our country. And therefore, we must ensure that we take along with us all these young children, all those people who are living in the rural areas belonging to the most marginalized sections, that they too can and would have an important role to play in the growth and development of our country. And having said that, I would once again like to emphasize that universities and institutions of higher learning should be able to produce a generation of innovators and not imitators, planners and not paper pushers, job givers and not job seekers, and original thinkers who do not follow the trodden or beaten path. And I must say that the PI Institute or university has been doing wonderfully well in that direction in trying to create such wonderful children who would be able to come out, step out confidently from the portals of the university to ensure that they can help us and support us, realize a dream that was seen by our ancestors long ago, a dream that has been wonderfully encapsulated in the words of the great poet Iqbal when he said that he would want to see Bharat as Sare Jahan se Acha, Hindustan Hamara. And I would also like to take the opportunity to remind the young students seated before the dais that I'm sure you would, in quest of greater opportunities, better opportunities, you would be treading alien shores. But even as you go there, you need to remember your roots are in India. And once again, to quote the words of Mahatma Gandhi, I may not be quoting the exact words, but he said, I do not want my house to be walled on all the sides, neither do I want my windows to be stuffed. I want the breeze of all cultures to blow freely around my house, but I refuse to be swept off my feet. And this, I think, each one of you needs to carry with you in your heart, because it is, I'm assured, these words which will help you and enable you not only to remember your roots, but also to help our country, even as she is striving and to be an evolving, a great superpower of the 21st century. Having said that, I would like to thank Dr. Ramdas Pai, the Governing Council, everybody, each one by name, who have given me this wonderful opportunity to be here with all of you, to share my ideas, my concerns with each one of you here. And once again, I wish a great future for all the graduates seated before the dais, and my best wishes to the parents here. Thank you.